Teslacam. I hope you're satisfied.
Our next video comes from a victim of road rage and an insurance scam, which almost landed him in jail for something he didn't even do. The guy who attacked him has a criminal record, so we've decided to keep his real name a secret and just call him Joe instead. Joe was driving his Model S on Highway 53 in Michigan. He was stuck behind a slow driver, but since he was using autopilot and the weather was pretty nice, he didn't mind the slow pace. After some time, he noticed the driver of the black sedan in front of him swerving in their lane, turning on their turn signal without changing lanes, and just generally being erratic. Eventually, he decided to pass them. Turning on his signal, he noticed a Jeep passing him with the driver yelling at him out of his window before flipping him off. Joe had no idea why he did that, but he assumed that he meant to yell at the slow driver in front of him. Passing the sedan, Joe picked up some speed and decided to change lanes again and continue on his way. That's when the Jeep tried to block him. He easily overtook the Jeep on the right to avoid the guy, who looks like he was trying to brake check him. As he accelerated to avoid an accident, he hit a big bump in the road which caused him to lose control momentarily. He quickly regained control, but at that point the other driver was in full-blown rage mode. The Jeep driver started chasing Joe and throwing stuff at him. Joe kept trying to avoid whatever was being thrown at him so his Tesla wouldn't be damaged. Joe decided he wanted nothing more to do with this guy, so he tried to take the next off-ramp. He waited until the last second to take the off-ramp, but the Jeep driver managed to follow him anyway. Joe began to drive normally since the guy wasn't throwing anything at him at the moment. However, in the roundabout at the end of the off-ramp, he passed Joe on the right and sideswiped the front passenger fender. The Jeep drove off in front of Joe after he hit him, but he was watching Joe in his rearview mirror. As soon as Joe tried to get his phone to call 911, the guy saw him reaching for his phone and slammed on his brakes while his eyes were off the road. The airbags deployed and the Jeep driver took off. Joe told the responding officer that he had video footage of everything that happened, but the officer wasn't even remotely interested in seeing it. Still, Joe documented everything that happened and wrote down several times in the police report that he had video evidence to back up his claims. Joe didn't get a citation at the accident scene, but when he looked at the police report, he found out the officer cited both him and the other guy for careless driving, stating that they were both at fault and that they both hit each other. After going to the police station, Joe discovered that the officer wasn't there. He showed the Teslacam footage to some other officers at the station instead, and they thought it was wrong for the other officer to refuse to see the video and to give him a citation. One of the officers happened to be the sergeant, and he promised Joe that he would have the original officer call him. 2 hours later, the officer called and sounded surprised that Joe had video footage of the incident.
Oh, wise guy, eh?
The officer told him that they would revoke his citation and change the other driver's citation from careless driving to reckless driving. That's 6 points off his license and some jail time in Michigan. Satisfied, Joe traveled outside the country only to come back to a reckless driving ticket against himself that basically said that he would be arrested because he hadn't responded to the ticket in a timely manner. Joe called the sergeant and the captain and left them a strongly worded voicemail. He was ready to sue at that point and had already contacted his lawyer. The sergeant called him back and explained that after the Jeep ran off from the accident scene, he went to the police station stating that it was Joe who sideswiped him, and when he tried to stop, he rammed him. He was fearful for his life, which is why he left the scene. They revoked all the tickets cited to Joe and instead cited the Jeep driver for reckless driving. That's when Joe learned that this was a common insurance scam. The idea is that the scammer first causes a minor accident. They then get in front of you, and when they see that you're reaching for your phone, they slam on their brakes. That way, it looks as if you hit a stopped vehicle with your phone in your hand. That's a hard case to argue without Teslacam footage as evidence.
Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Cybertruck? My friends all drive diesel, I must make a man.